An easy stir and mix cookie dough recipe you could use to roll out cookies and cut them out into different shapes. You could use this dough to make some crisp, buttery gingerbread men or lemon thins or anything else you please. Christmas isn't really Christmas without some festive cookies, and baking and decorating gingerbread men can be a fun holiday project. This dough is really easy to make, as you'll see, and the best thing is you could use this dough over a period of 2 days. This is based on Alice Medrich's recipe for lemon thins. You can find the ingredient list and the variations you could try in the description below the video. So here are the ingredients. We'll need some soft unsalted butter which has been melted and cooled, and I have some powdered sugar, and then there is some flour which has been sifted together with some baking soda, spices and a pinch of salt. There is some egg and egg yolk which I have whisked together. So we'll make the dough now. So we'll take the egg and the yolk in this bowl here. All ingredients are at room temperature. We will whisk in the sugar into this egg until it is homogeneous. I love using my tiny whisk for this. Then we'll stir in the melted butter. Combine these two really well, and then we'll stir in the flour mixture using a spatula. Mix this gently until you see all of the flour disappear. So this is our dough and it is quite soft now. You could either cover this with a cling film and then put it in the fridge, or we can put this on a piece of cling film, wrap it and then put it in the refrigerator. We'll try to flatten it into a rough square so that it's easier to roll it out later. And when the dough is flattened, it chills faster. And then we'll keep this on something flat like this and then put it in the fridge. We'll need to chill the dough for at least 20 minutes for the dough to firm up so that it's easy for us to roll it. So here is some dough I have made earlier. It's been chilling in the fridge. I've taken out just a portion of the dough and the rest of it is in the fridge. We need the dough to be firm but not really hard, as we need to roll out the cookies using gentle pressure. If you have left the dough in the fridge for a long time and the dough has become hard, just take out a portion of the dough and leave it on the counter till it becomes easy enough to roll. When you roll out cookies, the texture of the cookies is best when you roll out the cookies using minimal or no flour. I like using this method for rolling out cookies. I've kept this piece of chilled dough on a piece of baking parchment and I've covered it with some cling film. And now we'll roll out the dough. Try to keep the thickness of the dough uniform as you roll. I like these cookies best when they're rolled really thin, about 3 mm in thickness. If you were to roll this dough on the counter, you will need to use some amount of flour at least. And if you use excessive flour, your cookies will be floury. Remember to roll out with gentle pressure and try to keep the thickness of the dough uniform as you roll. And now we'll cut out these shapes. We are making some gingerbread men today. Cookie cutters with sharp edges work the best. Be firm when you press the cutter into the dough and twist it slightly. Try to cut out as many as you can. The scraps can be re-rolled again to roll out more cookies. We'll keep this on something flat like this. And when you're ready to bake, preheat the oven to 200 degrees centigrade. Transfer the shapes onto the baking sheet and then bake the cookies. The cookie sheet has been lined with some baking parchment, no need to grease it. I have some dough here which I had earlier put in the refrigerator. Just remove the excess dough around the gingerbread men. You could re-roll these scraps and repeat the process again. Then using a metal bench scraper, we'll transfer these cutouts to the baking sheet. This is one of my favorite tools to use. Space the cookies 1 inch apart. We'll need to bake these cookies for about 5 to 6 minutes, all till the edges turn a light golden brown. The baking time will vary depending on your oven and the thickness of the cookie dough. Please do watch carefully as the cookies may burn. It's always better to underbake cookies and bake them for a minute more if needed. It's always good to bake a small test batch to find out the approximate baking time. The cookies are now baked, and we'll cool this in the pan for a minute for the cookies to firm up, and then we'll put them on the rack to cool completely. You can re-roll the cookie scraps and repeat the process. Just make sure the baking sheet cools completely in between the batches. Once the cookies cool completely, store them in an airtight container. The cookies can be decorated once they cool completely. I'm not much of a decorator, but because it's Christmas, we'll have to do something. We have some icing sugar in this bowl here. I'm going to be adding a little bit of milk. Add very little milk at a time. You could also use water or orange juice. Milk gives it a slightly brighter color. If you want to adjust the consistency, just keep adding more milk or more sugar as needed. And we'll spoon the icing into a small Ziploc pouch, snip out the edge, and then you can have fun. I'm really clumsy at this. So this was the easiest recipe I could think of for you to roll out and decorate cookies for Christmas. I hope you'll try these cookies. Please do leave your comments for me. I hope you're ready with the homemade candied orange peel for your quick mincemeat. Coming up next are easy stir and mix moist little fruit cakes for Christmas. Lots more recipes and lots more tips coming up on Cakes and More. Please subscribe. Please stay tuned.